Welcome back to LJ's Comic Burrow. My name is Jay. I am the host of the show, and dear God, I am just minutes late from actually recording this on New Comic Book Day. I apologize. I'm sorry. I really did work hard. I did have a show recorded. I did start uploading it, and then I thought second thoughts on what I had said on it, so I decided to delete it and start afresh, start anew. Certain things, certain opinions that you might have, you just realize you must stop yourself before things go viral. And I think I'm pretty glad I did that. So, first thing I'm going to do is, one, welcome all new viewers. If you like what you're watching, like what you're seeing, if you like the words coming out of this mouth, please like, please subscribe, and please leave a comment. Because the best thing about doing this show is actually be able to interact with all of my viewers and everyone watching this face here, and enjoying, hopefully, the comic books that I am actually showing to you. And to all those of my past viewers, welcome back. I'm glad that you joined me again here for another episode of LJ Comic Burrow. And if you want a little bit more of this, please go to my Instagram. I do have shows that I have not shown here on my YouTube channel. I'd love to be able to entertain you in all formats, they say. Try everything. So I'm trying everything. So, let's start off this show right with a couple comic books that I picked up for my wife. I have some really cool stuff here, and I'm pretty ecstatic to be able to show these off. I think these, well, at least the first two, will probably win like the cover of the week because, one, they're amazing homages, and whoever really did the homage, who did the artwork, did a phenomenal job. Let's start off here with an homage to John Romita Sr. This is the Superior Spider-Man, issue number 3, Wolverine No More, off of Amazing Spider-Man issue 50. Now, when Romita did the red, let me tell you something. That was an awesome cover. The if you could get the cover in, like, back when it first originally came out, that red really did just come out. It just glowed. It was glowed. It was beautiful, and that's what I think of this issue right here. This blue is just glowing and radiating right off these pages. I absolutely love this cover, and because of that. And personally, if I could find an Amazing Spider-Man issue 50 that looked this good and didn't cost the $50,000 they probably were going to be asking for it, I would actually pick it up. So, if you don't have a chance to get that, get one of these, because, dear God, it is just as beautiful, just as nice, and they really did an amazing job doing this homage. So, right there. All right. The next one is an homage to Mr. Perez. And you guys have noticed on my other episodes, I have been doing some nice collecting of John Romita covers and George Perez covers that Marvel has been putting out from time to time, with the passing of both great artists, great creators. So, let me show this right off to you. This is the Avengers Inc. issue 5, the George Perez homage, with that little Infinity Gauntlet, with all those little different Wolverine characters there. Don't want to cover any one of them up. Yeah, I'm a huge George Perez, I'm a huge John Romita fan. So just getting that is just awesome and fantastic. The last one, my wife doesn't really have a lot of the shiny covers, so when I saw this, I knew she'd love this to add to her collection. She is a huge X-Men fan. She's a huge Wolverine fan, and by the end of this, she'll probably own most of those Wolverine happy 50th birthday covers. And so to get this, she was really, really happy. She looked at me and she said, "Thank you very much," which was, one of those things that you want to get from your wife when you do something nice. So, made sure I picked this up. That really does. That is an amazing, beautiful cover. I kept thinking about it. Is it really that good? And every time I look at it, my point of view from this cover actually does change. So, yeah, I love that cover. All right, let's get into the first issue that I actually had to read. This is Al Ewing doing The Immortal Thor, issue 6. And yes, this is a really, really, really cool comic book. If you don't, and if you haven't started reading Immortal Thor, can I tell you something? You are missing out. This is a great story. I love how this is basically a story told by Loki that they are living through and going through, and as the twists and the turns, they're actually feeling everything going on, and then you find out it isn't Loki telling the story at all. It is such a great story. I love it. Perfect Alex Ross cover. Yeah. I'm so glad I picked up on that train. I'm so glad that I decided that I was going to read Immortal Thor. Al Ewing, thank you. All right, so the next comic book I'm about to show you, I'm going to have to apologize to Mr. Dan Slott. I'm a huge Amazing Spider-Man fan, and for the few years that you did write Amazing Spider-Man, I absolutely hated it. I was not a fan. I now own no Dan Slott Amazing Spider-Man. I don't. I refuse to pick it up. I think it was garbage. I think he shat on a plate and handed it to me, and dear God, just kept repeating the same story over and over and over again. Until this came out, and I am super excited, and so live or recorded or whatever, I'm going to apologize to you, Mr. Dan Slott. Thank you so much. Thank you for creating a great story, a fun story, a story that I'm really excited to read the next issue for. Spider-Boy. This is Spider-Boy issue 3. I love this story. I love what Spider-Boy is going through. I love how he is dealing with things, dealing with being poor, trying to make money, trying to become an Avenger and hoping that it pays something. This is an awesome story. So thank you so much, Mr. Dan Slott. I appreciate this hard work that you're putting into this and making sure that it is a fun story, not really to be taken serious, which and I think that's what you have to do with Amazing Spider-Man. There is joking around. There is the things going on where you're like, wow, this is crazy, coming out of the closet stuff, but it's more of a serious comic book, kind of like on the edge of like Batman, stuff like that. This, you just don't take it serious. It's just one hijinks after another, and to me, that's what makes Spider-Boy so much fun. So if you have not started reading this is definitely one of those series you need to go to your local comic book store like I did, or Comics Connection in York, Pennsylvania, do that little commercial for them, and ask for this book. You definitely will not forget one of those. You definitely will not regret reading this story. All right, I've apologized to Dan Slott, and now I'm going to apologize to Mr. C. Spurrier, because you've made a fan out of this man reading this book, and this is Flash issue 5. I love this. Now, I was a fan of the 70s, 80s Flash. I was a huge fan of that story. I was a huge fan of the original Flash series, but I never really got into Wally West until until this series came out. And I didn't even look at who was writing it. I was just like, I'm signing up for this. I've got to get this. I've got to see. I got to see if I'm would be interested in this story. And I am all in. And after reading this, I'm reading basically this is the story of Ja West, and Ja is a phenomenal kid with some unusual and amazing powers. And you basically are going through his decision making of either if he wants to be a superhero or not. You need to get this. If you love the Flash, this is one of those books that you are missing out on if you decided to turn it down. This is a great series. Forgot to show this. This is also a book for my wife. Now, oh God, it has a Fall of X on it. All right, so yeah, that turns my stomach after all that shit. So I will tell you a little bit about this, Mr. Benjamin Percy. You are a great writer. You're a phenomenal writer. You're an amazing writer, and eventually I will get over the whole Fall of X long ass storyline that so many side stories were a lot better than the main story at all. And I will pick up these books and I will go back and I will read these. Until that day, I will advertise your writing because you did something fucking fantastic in this book. And this is supposedly considered the best, bloodiest Wolverine story other than that Predator versus Wolverine book that we just got that you wrote. This is rated R. Dear God, has a parental advisory right on the cover. So anybody under 18 should not be able to pick up this book. This is just fucking that good. This is Sabretooth War, Part 2, Wolverine issue 42. And this is also an homage. For people my age, I'll bring you back to where it is. Alright? I don't know if a lot of people remember this, but there was once a movie called Creepshow. It happened back in the early 80s. It was a great movie based off a comic book. I actually have one of the original comic books that came out during that time that was based on the book that he was reading throughout the movie. This is one of those scenes in that book / movie. This is the homage to that part where the old man, who was dead, undead, walking around wanting a birthday cake, I think with their son's head or someone related's head on a platter going, I want a cake. I made my own cake. And that's all he's saying over and over again as he's holding this. I absolutely love whoever remembered that scene and brought this back to life. Thank you. This was really, really cool to see again. So, please, if you're not reading Wolverine, you're definitely missing out. And I'll be missing out just probably a little bit longer until I get over that whole X crap. I just can't. All right. I'm really excited to be able to talk about this next book. Actually, there's not too many books here that I am not too excited about. Well, there's one. And we'll be getting to that pretty soon. So, I've been telling you since the very beginning, since the very first issue, which was 7 issues ago, so this is issue number 8, about how good this book is. About how good, should say, this series is. And this just another proving fact on how good Philip Kennedy Johnson really is in writing The Incredible Hulk. Alright? I know. A lot of people probably got a lot sour in their mouth after that Donny Cates series. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I had I had a high expectation of what that book really should have been, and I'm pretty sure Donny Cates did too. But unfortunately, if nobody actually really knows, last year, while in the middle of writing and everything, between that, his own series, Thor, Mr. Cates was in a serious car accident, and I'm sure he had better plans. I'm sure that was supposed to go a lot further and really dive deep into what was going on between Bruce Banner and the Hawk. I know that was supposed to be the whole story behind the thing. Unfortunately, like I said, things did not turn out the way, I guess, life you have planned in life, and sometimes life has different plans for you. So, I will say this. As a huge supporter of Donny Cates, and if you ever see this video, which I highly doubt, I'm some little man here in York, Pennsylvania, but if you ever do, I do wish you well. I do wish the best for you. I do hope that you find happiness in everything once again, and that you can because you are the creative genius that was Marvel at one time, and still probably can be again. So I'm hoping the best just for you. But until then, Phil Kennedy Johnson, you have filled in quite nicely over at Marvel for this Hulk series. Thank you for creating such an amazing series. On to another great story. Yeah, I've told you about this, and this is issue 2 of this series. This is the 5-book series, and I'm gonna be sad when it's gone. Chip, thank you for writing such an amazing series so far. This is Avengers Twilight issue 2, Alex Ross cover. Yeah. This is some badass shit, and I'm going to be honest with you. If you're not reading this, you are missing out completely. This is too brand new for me to sit here and spoil it for you. But yeah, Tony Stark's son is starting to be a problem. Let's just say that. But here you go. You're going to love this series. Pick up issue 1, pick up issue 2. For all those that are doing it just for money, already know that issue 1 is already selling for almost $30, which is fucking crazy. I mean, for such, I know it's a great series and stuff like that, so I never thought it would even go that far. Personally, I'm getting it to read because it is a great book, and I've enjoyed every minute of reading this. Probably when all the issues come out, I'm probably just going to read them all over again, so definitely pick this up. You won't regret that either. Now, this you will regret. At least I did. And everybody's going to have their opinion, and dear God, please, I'd love to be able to hear your opinion about this whole thing. But Mr. McFarlane, I'm a huge supporter. I bought a lot of your stuff. I'm a huge fan of your writing. Huge fan of your artwork. So when I read in Comic Hub that you were going to be doing at least some of the writing of this book, and then I looked inside and saw you done none of the writing on this book, I feel lied to, and if you could send $3.99 or $2.99 my way for picking it up this to begin with, I'd appreciate it, because this was not good. Personally, Spawn issue 349 to me has been a little bit of a letdown. It did not live up to the standard that I thought it was going to be. This was supposed to be, well, a 3-part story of Spawn finally getting the throne of hell and becoming king of all. which is weird, is because that's what I thought it was when he got the throne originally in King Spawn, but I guess not. I was lied to then too. So, I was really sad. I stopped collecting in issue 330 some, but I was really sad that Cygor died. He was one of my favorite Spawn characters, and I'm hoping that they bring him back some way. I don't know how many issues he's been dead for. Made me tear up a little bit because, like I said, he is one of my favorite characters. So I hope at least he died for good, or for not for good as in forever, but as in for the good of mankind, or whatever you guys are doing for him. But I'm hoping 350 is a lot better. I'm hoping they get a better writer. I'm hoping they change things around, and I'm hoping to be after I read this issue 350 and 351, I won't sit down and pull my hair out and go, why, Todd, why? I know you're busy. You got Rat City coming out. You're doing lots of giveaways. You're doing a lot of good things. I just bought a figure for my wife. It was the Jalen Hurts figure. It was the gold figure. She absolutely loved it. But it's your main book. It's your main book, Todd. Come on. All right. So, I will say this. Issue 4 just came out last week. And so I took the time to sit down and read all 4 issues all at once. And it read out like such an amazing movie. After reading issue 1, I read issue 2. I was like, man, I wonder how they're gonna finish this off. After issue 3, I was like, holy shit, how are they gonna finish this off? By the end of issue 4, I was like, this is so good. Why is this ending? Unfortunately, all good things do come to an end, and it's always better to leave the reader or the watcher wanting than to say, shit, this should have ended a while ago. So, like I said, I read all 4 issues, finishing off with the last issue that just came out. And this proved why James Timonian IV and Martin Simmons are the team out there to beat when it comes to great writing and artwork. Yeah, you really can't dismiss this team. If they could take this team to Marvel, take this team to DC, dear God, I can only imagine the books that they would end up on. I can only imagine, the creative team that they could become. Dear God, you could put them on Green Lantern. You could put them on any kind of Marvel team. I would love to see, God, bring back the Defenders and have these guys do it. This, I think, would be a home run. It'd probably be the best Defenders in such a long time since the Defenders originally came out. And they had some great teams back then working on that book. They had George Perez. They had Jack King Kirby doing some artwork. They had Jim Starlin on that. So they've had some amazing work. Let me tell you, bring these guys in. Let them hit. Let them play. I'm telling you. Now, they are coming out with another Universe Monsters coming up. I personally will not be reading that one. And you guys can send your hate mail right here. Because I'm not a huge Ram V fan, especially when he's writing alone. I mean, especially when he's writing with a team or another member. Unfortunately, they are doing the Creature of the Black Lagoon, and yeah, I guess I was really never a fan. I was hoping to see Wolfman, but Creature Black Lagoon, he is definitely an old time favorite for a lot of people, and maybe Ram V by himself could have did it because he did an amazing job for Swamp Thing. But unfortunately, I've never read anything else that he's done that was actually good, and that's just personally. It's just, to me, I feel like he tries to talk over everybody, and he loses himself in his own writing. So, that being said, if anybody has any kind of Ram V comics or whatever or suggestions, please, I will pick one up. I will read it, I promise. But until that moment, it's just I can't read Ram V. Sorry, guys. So, let's on to the next comic book here. All right. Now, when I was at Baltimore Comic Con, I had a book, and I had it signed 5 times by some of the greatest artists, writers, creators that was going on during the time that book came out. Hell, even some of the greatest writers I think that ever came out during at all. So to get the shiny copy of this, I'm pretty ecstatic. Mine came out of the 9.0. I was afraid to get it pressed and cleaned due to the fact that, dear God, I just had all the signatures on there, and I was afraid that it would destroy it. So when I got this, I was pretty happy, and boy, do the colors pop, how shiny as it is. This is so awesome. I was so glad to get this. I know this book has come out so many different ways, so many different forms, strange tales, blah blah blah, now this remake and stuff like this. But to me, I mean, this is the homage basically to Amazing Fantasy issue 15. To me, I absolutely love this artwork. I love how the colors pop with the foil. So I'm pretty happy about this book. I know some people sat there and were like, well, it's come out over and over again. But this is so... come on. Look at that color pop. Yeah. All right. The next 3 books I do have to show off. And I only got them because they're sentimental value. One, the artwork, the cover artwork is phenomenal. And I will eventually read it. I did get 1 reader copy for myself. And the other 2 I might just send off to CGC. But these are just more of a sentimental book. I had a little baby, fur baby, and unfortunately, after 2 weeks after I got him, he died of heart failure. He was taken way too young from his mother, and which sucks because I was so many miles away when it happened. Unfortunately, he died in my daughter's arms, and yeah, you can't take you can't. It's just one of those things. You just wish that, at least he was with somebody that really looked out for him at the very end. It's just a sucky thing to have your daughter go through at a young age when it happened. So, when this was coming out and announced, I went and I ordered a lot of different kinds of copies, a lot of different versions of the covers. Unfortunately, the foil covers never came out. They canceled them. Not my comic book store, and unfortunately, the people that were doing the comics themselves canceled them. But the 2 covers that I got are fucking phenomenal, and I can't wait to show them to you right now. This is Lilo and Stitch, issue 1. Like I said, I did get 1 reader copy. And I think this is the cover B that ended up coming out. Or C or D. I don't know. I think I got the prettiest one. You should tell. Them playing ukulele and dancing around the waterfall. I also picked up the virgin copy of that, which is awesome. I love that. This one I'll probably get graded. Yeah, that one I'll probably get graded, and yeah, I'll also probably get this one graded also, This is Stitch just being so foolish and cool and great. That's the negative copy. So, they're the comics here that I have to show to you. Let's just say, if you like what you're watching, you like what you saw, dear God, and if you like the words that were coming out of my mouth, please like, please subscribe, please leave a comment. I love to be able to hear from you. I love to be able to see what you thought was your favorite comic book cover. I love to hear the comic books that you're collecting. I love to be able to hear about what heroes, what villains, whatever that you guys are reading. And if you like Looney Tunes and stuff like that, dear God, my last thing was all about it. Sitting there talking about some great golden keys and an atomic key. Holy crap. So, to end with a serious note. One, if you're looking to ever to rescue an animal, please always look up the information, get knowledgeable on what the animal that you're bringing into your home. This way you're able to look and be able to deal with whatever problem and issue that does come up. Thank you again for joining me for my show. From my family to your family. Hope I get to see you again next week. Thank you all again, and I'll talk to you later.